The meeting will now call to order. A roll call of the members by Superintendent, reading of the school board prayer by myself, and leading of the Pledge of Allegiance by Joshua Aber, Vice President.
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Lewis? Here. Mr. Meyer? Here. Mrs. Barra? Mrs. Boutin?
Here.
Mr. Hebert? Here. Mr. Washington?
Here.
Mrs. Hood?
Here.
Mrs. Arso?
Here.
Mrs. Dugas? Here. Madam President, you have a quorum.
Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight in gratitude for the opportunity to serve our schools, our educators, and most importantly, our children. Lord, help us to work together in unity, setting aside differences so that we can make the decisions that strengthen our schools and benefit every child we serve. Father, we lift you up, the children of this district. Protect them, guide them, and fill their hearts with love for learning and for one another. Surround them with teachers and leaders who will inspire them to grow into the individuals you have created them to be. Shield them from harm, encourage their dreams, and instill in them the confidence to walk boldly in their purpose. Bless the parents, teachers, and administrators who shape their futures. Give us the strength to lead with integrity, the wisdom to make sound decisions, and the compassion to always put the needs of the children first. Lord, may everything we do tonight be done in the spirit of unity, humility, and service. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
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 To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. To agenda, adoption of agenda. I need a motion.
So moved.
One second.
Moved by Ms. Orso, second by Mr. Aber. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 3, consent agenda. Adopt a resolution of sympathy for Myrtle Blanchard.
The resolution reads as such: whereas we, the members of the Assumption Parish School Board, have learned of the untimely death of Ms. Myrtle Blanchard, an outstanding employee and citizen of Assumption Parish. Whereas by her devotion and loyalty, she had come to be recognized as the most valuable asset to the Assumption Parish family of public educators. And whereas Mrs. Blanchard served Assumption Parish School Board for 32 years. And whereas her life was a record of service and devotion to children, community, and family, her loss will be shared by all who cherish the education of the young, especially the young of Assumption Parish. Now therefore it be resolved that the Assumption Parish School Board deeply regrets the untimely loss of a true friend and servant to public education and offers her family our deepest sympathy in their time of grief. Be it further resolved that a copy of this expression of sympathy is presented to the family with our deepest condolences. We have any family members from Ms. Murder? Come on up, please.
The one in the maroon shirt right there. She's gonna have to jump and go. I don't think so. She looks like. But that's not.
We'd just like to thank everybody. We appreciate it.
Come on, come on.
Get my good side. Sure. Thank you.
I'd like to say that I grew up in that house with Mr. David, Miss Merck, and these fine people, and they were truly a huge part of Assumption Parish Schools, both of them, and they'll be sincerely missed, and I'm so sorry.
And for the,
Bert was quite a good character at Assumption High School. She was there when I went to school, so that's many moons ago. But I have to say that I always admired her. She was a great leader at our school. Thank y'all for letting us have her.
Miss B may have taught for 32 years, but she hung around for a long time. She was a true Mustang.
And
I don't think there's anybody in the parish that doesn't know who she is and has experienced her in some way or another. So thank y'all for sharing her with us as well.
she was Assumption High School teacher, as well as a track and volleyball coach for over 19 years. So 19 years as a track and volleyball coach, and also 32 years, obviously, as a teacher. So thank you.
Thank you for her service.
C, adopt a resolution of sympathy for Vernana Marsh.
Resolution reads as such. Whereas we, the members of the Assumption Parish School Board have learned of the untimely death of Ms. Verna Marsh, Ms. Venona Marsh, an outstanding employee and citizen of Assumption Parish. Whereas by her devotion and loyalty, she had come to recognize as a most valuable asset to the Assumption Parish family of public educators. Whereas Ms. Marsh served Assumption Parish School Board for 27 years, and whereas her life was a record of service and devotion to children, community, and family, her loss will be shared by all who cherish the education of the young, especially the young of Assumption Parish. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Assumption Parish School Board deeply regrets the untimely loss of a true friend and servant to public education, and offers her family our deepest sympathy in their time of grief. Be it further resolved that a copy of this expression of sympathy is presented to the family with our deepest condolences. And Ms. Marsh, she was a teacher aide for over 27 years in Assumption Parish. If you want to say a few words, you can.
I didn't know her, did you? No.
I'm making them another upstairs.
Adopt a resolution recognizing April 2025 as National Autism Acceptance Month. Mr. Honoré.
Thank you, Madam President. So last year, this time, Ms. Barra read this resolution, and she asked me to, what I do this year, since both of us share a common bond, having grandkids in the Assumption Parish school system that's dealing with this condition. It reads as follows: whereas autism is defined as a certain set of behavior and is a spectrum condition that affects people differently and to various degrees. Whereas autism is a complex, lifelong development disability that typically appears during early childhood and can impact a person's social skill, communication, relationship, and self-regulation. And whereas in 2023, the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, issued statistics including that prevalence of autism had risen to 1 in every 36 children in the U.S., up from the previous rate of 1 in 44 kids in the U.S. Whereas autism is 4 times more likely to be identified in boys than in girls, as characteristics of autism do not present in the same way with girls and might go undiagnosed. And whereas autism impacts people regardless of race or ethnicity, with changes reflecting an improvement in outreach, screening, and destigmatization of autism diagnosis among minority communities. Whereas there is currently no known single cause of autism, early diagnosis and intervention program leads to significant improved outcome for individuals with autism. And whereas Autism Care Act of 2019 increased the annual authorized federal spending on autism efforts to $336 million through 2024, whereas we do not fully understand the consistent increase, it is clearly that our policymakers must respond to the additional services needs of the significant rise in numbers of people on the autism spectrum. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Assumption Parish School Board, the month of April 2025 will be celebrated as World Autism Acceptance Month. 2, that it recognizes and commends the family members of children with autism for their sacrifice and dedication in providing for the special needs of children with autism. 3, that it stresses the need to begin early intervention service soon after a child is diagnosed with autism in an effort to improve potential outcomes for people with autism. And 4, that it salutes the teachers, the paraprofessionals, and other educators who possesses the desire, caring, and skill necessary to teach, assist, and respond to special needs students, including but not limited to those with autism, and who work tirelessly to educate and provide programming for special needs students enrolled in the Assumption Parish School System. Declare this day, April 2nd of 2025, at a regular meeting of Assumption Parish School Board, Napoleonville, Louisiana, signed by Dr. John Bartholomew, Superintendent of Assumption Parish Schools. So we have 2 people here, very special people here today. Andrea kind of made the suggestion that I get her daughter, Loretta, and my daughter, Valencia, to come up and give us a little brief introduction of what it's like to dealing with autistic kids on a daily basis. I've seen Loretta, your kid, at the school and stuff like that, and my grandson Blaze, so we've I've been dealing with him for about 21 years now, Valencia. So he's getting to be a young man right now. So if y'all want to come up front and y'all come together so you can lean on one another. Come up too, Valencia. Both of y'all come. Y'all could prop each other up.
Ms. Valencia here, y'all know I'm not afraid to talk in front of a crowd.
I was trying to follow.
So I could stand up here and give statistics all day about how much the prevalence of autism has increased since I was even a child. But I'm going to give you a real life statistic. As long as the oldest person in my family has been alive, so they remember the last 3-4 generations, there's not anybody diagnosed with autism in my family. In my son's generation, there are 6.
Wow.
There are 6. So it's increasing. And I would just like to say, coming in and entering school, a lot of us now, thankfully, the state has a program called Early Steps. Your pediatrician refers you. They come into your home, they do therapies, that's birth to 3. And then depending on where you are in that, at 3, the school takes over. And the frustrating part for a lot of parents is that you don't always have that official diagnosis at 3. Back when we were going through the process, the waiting list to get an evaluation at LSU Psych was 3 to 4 months. It's now over a year. So they're coming into the school system. They don't know if their child has autism or not. People contact me every day trying to just understand how this works. And what most people don't realize is that you don't have to have the official diagnosis for the school to qualify your child and provide those services. They're 2 totally different things that serve different purposes. So I do try my best to help those who contact me navigate all of that. And we've been in Assumption Parish Schools, I think this is our 9th year. And when people ask me, I work in Morgan City, people ask me, I can't believe you drive to Napoleonville every day to bring your kid to school. There's nowhere else I would want him to be in our area. I can't say enough good things. Is it always easy? Do we always get along? Do we always agree? No, but communication, openness, respect, listening to each other has gotten us where we are today. And just want to leave you a little story. So when Wyatt entered Head Start at Byler's Primary, he might have said 5 words, maybe. And not every kid will get to that point to where they're verbal, but they will communicate with you one way or another. But I just remember thinking, like, does he know I'm his mom? Does he know I have a name other than mom? Will he ever be potty trained? Will he ever learn to read? And we're at a point now to where when I say, Wyatt, we're gonna take a bath and it's bedtime, he goes, bruh. Mom. So that might look different for Blaze. Blaze might stomp and roll his eyes instead of saying bruh. But it's just, I'm impressed with how our school system has adapted here specifically to include all of our children and our communities. All of our students, they're amazing with my son. Like, they will grab his hand. If he doesn't want to do something, some of them make him. Like, you're come and slide with me, or you're come and do this with me. And he does. He's reading. We have our days, but overall, there's nowhere else I would want him to be. So thank you to all the educators in this room. There may be some who have had the experience of sitting in a room with me for hours. So they know exactly where I'm coming from. I see you. I appreciate everything, the daily communication, just especially through this year's transition to middle school. It's been tough. It's been tough.
Yes, it is.
We have 2 more coming
Yeah.
now that the plans have changed.
Yeah.
But I'm not afraid of them like I would be if we were somewhere else, because I know our staff will communicate, and I know they're ready to handle what comes. So thank you. Let Ms. Valencia talk about.
Kind of piggyback off of what she said. Oh, sorry. I'm very thankful for the school system, and Blaze and we kind of had a rough start because I was not so much a young mom, but I was somewhat young, and we were still trying to figure out what was autism. Blaze was diagnosed 2006?
Yeah.
2006, he was diagnosed. I didn't even know what autism was. So we've been, running to this doctor, this hospital, Lafayette, New Orleans. We went to Lake Charles. We went to Texas. We've been all over trying, in the beginning stages, trying to figure out what was happening with my son. Because my son, he was talking and doing all of these things, and all of a sudden, he backpedaled, just completely. And it's been probably since about 2007 since he's taught. But thankfully, with schooling and all of that stuff, he's had good teachers and all of that. He's been able to kind of somewhat communicate his needs and wants. Every now and then we kind of struggle to figure out what he's trying to say, because it's tough trying to literally read a mind. But for the most part, it works. It works. Well, it works for me. I don't know how other people would be able to deal with it, but for the most part, we deal. And Blaze, I'm thankful for his teacher, Miss Paula. I'm telling you, woo, she has really been so helpful to me. Like, I love Miss Paula. She's kind of like what I don't think of, she thinks of it for me. And I'm thankful for that because, whew. But for the most part, I'm thankful. I'm very happy that I've kept Blaze here all of these years. We've had a few bumps in the road along the way. few challenges here and there, but for the most part, I'm very thankful. Very thankful. And I've seen Blaze. Blaze just turned 21
March something, man.
over a week ago. It's been over a week. He made 21. So we've been at this for like almost 19 years. So our journey has been, ooh, but we making it. We making it, and I'm very thankful, very thankful. But I just hope that in time, because I've seen since 2006, how things have, how just people, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, just how more people are learning more about autism. I just hope that over time that more people will become more aware that these children do exist, and just teach the children that they're here and they exist. And if you can help out a little bit, it goes a long way.
All right. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
And I would just like to add, so Ms. Valencia and my in-laws are next door neighbors. So I remember when Blaze was speaking. Before I knew her, before we made that connection, I remember that. So that just tells you what a small world it is. And it's just, I would say to parents, find fellow parents who are going through what you're going through, because they are invaluable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all, ladies.
Testimony.
God bless you, Bill.
You know, they say when I read this resolution, and I heard it a lot last year when Miss Andrew read it, the part that kind of gets me to say there's no known single cause of autism. And I don't know, all the medical professions we have in the world are going to tell me there's no known single cause of autism. That's the part that kind of somewhat, I guess, confusing to me or something like that. So I hope one day that they can find a cause and all that, But both of y'all, thank y'all very much. Thank y'all very much.
Thank
And
you,
I know
Bill.
Andrew's watching this. Yeah, mom was sick, as she told me, huh? Okay. Right, okay. Thank y'all, God bless you.
Thank y'all very much.
Listen, Valencia and my dear sister, when we think about trying to find out why and who and what, and being a minister in a ministry, and it leads back to the one that I'm serving, and that's God. And he puts it on people that he knows they can handle.
That can handle it, yes.
Honorary. So kudos to you all, and God is watching. You're not alone, and whatever you need, he's going to supply it. He has to, because that's who he is. God bless you.
Good job. Moving on to the consent agenda, approve minutes of March 12th, 2025 school board meeting.
If everything is in order, so move.
Thank you, Ms. Orso.
A second.
Second by Mr. Abear. All in favor?
All right,
Any opposed? Do I do adoption of consent agenda? No. Reports and recognition. A, receive administrative personnel report. You all have this in your folders. B, recognize and honor Assumption Parish livestock exhibitors. Ms. Margot Castro.
First of all, I'd like to thank you all for your continuous support. We have some of our exhibitors with us today. If y'all could gather behind me.
Come on up.
These are some of our exhibitors from our parish. These kids have raised their animals all year, and they've shown at the parish, district, and state level. Assumption Parish.
Y'all not shy.
Assumption Parish was well represented, and lots of these kids won lots of prizes. But showing livestock is not about winning or losing. It's about learning life skills, such as responsibility and dedication, while making memories along the way. Livestock projects build family values and instill in our children the importance of hard work and integrity. Anybody want to say anything? Okay.
So raising livestock has meant the world to, I know, many of us up here. It's my last year doing it, and God, I'm gonna miss it. It's not gone though. I mentor a lot of these kids up here, and I loved every single second of it. It teaches us to wake up at the crack of dawn when we may not want to, because we have something that relies on us more than just for feed, but to take care of it and put our effort into it. It teaches us to really persevere through anything. It's a lot of challenging things, but in the end, we work together with our families, our friends, and with our animals to accomplish what we do. We're keeping the next generation of farmers alive, and that's a big deal to a lot of us up here, and it's what we're gonna do with the rest of our lives. So it means a big deal to us to have support of y'all and the rest of the community, because we love it and we truly enjoy it and wouldn't have it any other way.
All right. Good, good.
Okay, so just a couple of quick things. These kids don't get a break. It doesn't matter if it's raining, sleet, snow. Those snow days before they could play, they had to go fool with their animals. So lots of hard work. I want to leave you with one little quote. Meaning of a livestock show: a road paved with life lessons, handshakes, and memories, all coming together at the peak moment when you step into the ring and realize you are already a champion. Thank y'all again.
Thank you so much, Ms. Margot, for keeping this program going. 4-H is such a big asset for our children. Being part of working with you has been a pleasure. You've always been there for these young people, and I thank you for what you do.
I think this club in partnership with 4-H has produced some of the most responsible and accountable children in life, not just with animal husbandry, but in life. Most respectful, always willing to put a hand in and help, and we hear that from their teachers and administrators all the time. So thank y'all, and thanks for the parents that put in the time and the money and effort and training. Y'all are doing amazing with the kids. Thank y'all too. Congratulations.
God bless you.
Thank you, Ms. Sadie. You see you.
I just have to say the hard work and dedication that goes into this program with not only the kids, but the administrators, the FFA program, the 4-H program. This is our future farmers of America. You kids rock. Charlie, wonderful speech, loved it. And she's right. When they get in 12th grade, they can no longer show after that year. And it is heart-wrenching because they put their blood, sweat, and tears, and they get drug around a ring sometimes by cattle. I mean, hey, but you kids are amazing, and I'm so very proud of you. 5, policy and procedure. A, approve revisions of policy JCD AE, electronic devices. I need a motion.
So move.
By Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Washington. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 6, budget. A, approve Louisiana Applicant Processing Services Digital Fingerprint, LAPS, Enroll Your Own, EYO, Partner Option. I need a motion.
So move.
One second.
Moved by Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Abear. Any questions?
Yes. Have we looked at the other options? What made us choose option 3?
Good evening. We chose option 3 because the Louisiana State Police said that's what our entity falls under. We're not a government agency, and what they classify, they told us that's where we fall. And I got this information from the State Department to contact state police, and they classify agencies. So that's why we went with that option.
Okay, and the main reason we're going with it is because of the time that it takes to be fingerprinted?
Yes, ma'am. We were trying to speed up our process because not only do we fingerprint our own employees that we're hiring or substitutes, but now the State Department has added a credentialing factor to when you want to renew your certificate. So our local agency limited recently in the last few months to 4 or 5 a day. And what we've actually found is we've had one individual who had 4 or 5 appointments canceled and ended up having to go to Thibodeau. And her certificate, the timeline is there. So we're starting a little bit earlier, but with the cancellations, with the lack of being able to get people fingerprinted, we did lose a sub that went to another district because the process just took too long. And then some of our own employees, their certificates may be coming to where they may expire if it takes too long. So it's a process to help our employees.
Have we considered booking appointments just like Assumption every week and have whatever person needs to be fingerprinted to go in? I just think it's a lot of money, and we're spending a lot of money right now. I think that we need to be more few. Just my opinion. And the sheriff works well with us.
They do. What I think took place is that with the State Department requiring background checks for every certificate that is changed, updated, it's more than their department can handle because we are such a large entity in our parish. So we are fingerprinting substitutes because we want to help teachers and principals put people in classrooms, new employees, and now our regular employees that have to update a certificate. The demand was more than what our local agency would potentially be able to handle, and they limited the number of people.
Is it quicker at the state police department in Houma?
Oh, no.
Is it quicker there?
No.
Well, I mean, we could send them. We've done that. Like, they go to Morgan City, they go to Thibodeau, but we're also now requiring our hometown people to go to outside places because appointments may not be scheduled for about 2 weeks. Now, you asked about, were you referencing us scheduling appointments of how we will roll this process out?
Right. I mean, just every week, say one for Assumption, and whoever needs to be done, they would have an appointment. Have you considered
We actually
that?
would have the flexibility to fingerprint them the same day that a sub-application comes in. There wouldn't be a time lapse because we would be able to do it on a schedule that is set within our office. So of course, we'd have designated days.
Right. Not here. I'm talking about with the sheriff's office.
We were trying that. There's just limited because anybody can use them, which is what led us to even inquire about it when the state put in that demand for credentialing. And when they limited the number per day they're doing, we explored this option to see how we might best be able to help our employees.
With option 3, we are private enrollment and not the public, right?
That is what state police classified us as. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
And we would
and-
only fingerprint our employees. We would not have people coming to us.
Yeah. And getting back to Ms. Cooney's point, no, state police is not really quick because you think about it, all the school districts across the state of Louisiana might be seeking that services as well. So I think going this route right here is more feasible and expeditiously as compared to going through state police or going through the public, as in Leland's office, the sheriff's office, because they also do public, the way I understand it.
Yes. That is the agency we were using more regularly.
How often do we run into this problem?
Before they started limiting us, not as much. But since then, we've had to wait about a 2-week span and then they've recently started canceling some appointments.
So each time that one of you need to get recertified or your certification, you also have to go through this process again?
As of January of this school year,
They actually voted on it in the summer legislation, and it went into effect in January.
Right.
But everybody, it's a one-time thing. So it's
Right.
not every time you want to renew.
Okay.
But when my certificate's up in December of '25, because I didn't have a current background check and wasn't hired in the last 5 years,
Right.
they are requiring you to get a new background check, because what it does, and they call it a wrap back. Say, for instance, somebody gets arrested, it'll automatically ping to the State Department, and they'll get a notification that they can check to make sure it's not one of the major ones that would revoke a certificate. So it's a checks and balances for who we have in our classrooms for our children. So they put that into effect in January. But only once we do it, then you don't have to do it again. But everybody in the state of Louisiana, as of January, once their certificate comes up, then they have to get this happening.
Okay.
If you have
Bambi,
Go ahead, Alex, you want to say something? I went last week, I had an appointment last week that got canceled right here in Winterville because the machine is broken, they're waiting on a part, and they don't know when it's gonna come in. So that's the fact of life that it's right there, it's convenient, but there are limited appointments, the machine is currently broken, and they don't know when it's supposed to come in. Then you have to get back into a rotation of when you could go again, if that's even available. I'll have to go to Thibodeau.
Well, it took 2 weeks for me to get my appointment just to get on the board.
So you're living, yes.
Yeah, it took 2 weeks.
And what happens is that, like, if you don't mind me using, for her example, that holds up the onboarding process, because we don't, per policy, onboard anyone until we have a clear background check.
So if you need a place to sub tomorrow, we could do that now and not have to wait or be in limbo with anything, yeah.
It's really the fingerprints that are, once they go fingerprint, it'll show up sometimes in 24 hours. Like mine was there the next morning, because I went and get mine done to see how the new process works.
Good.
At the very beginning. So I didn't have that hard of a time making an appointment. And so it was a very quick turnaround. So we really could have a sub in the classroom in 2 to 3 days as compared to
2-3 weeks, yeah. Yeah, good.
But also going through this process, if someone does a criminal act, we're able to see it in real time versus someone sitting in our classroom with students that may have committed a crime, but we may not even know about it.
So what about training? The state police gonna train,
That does come in this package. We would have 5 in-person trainings that would take place, in addition to the regular training that happens once you get it set up. Yes.
yes, ma'am.
Only company we looked at, or did we look at other people, other sources, or?
This is the only one that was recommended. The State Department the State Department of Education sent me that information, and this is the only agency that you can go through for this process.
Okay.
Okay.
A lot of money.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Ms. Melissa, would you do a roll call, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes. B, receive information on request for assistance in funding the 2025 operation of the District Attorney's Office.
So moved. That's Coney saying. You shaking over there? You shaking?
Just receive information, so.
Next month,
C, receive information on Assembly Board Management Software.
I'm just bringing this forward. I know LSBA, Dr. Pope has been asking several of the board members as well as myself for us to look into possibly transitioning away from board docs to Assembly. So I'm just providing this information. My only concern would be we need to make sure that we receive the policy updates like we currently receiving from Forethought. I don't know their process, but I know right now whenever there's a policy update, Forethought sends it over to us right away. And also if there's any changes that we need to make to the policy to fit Assumption Parish, we send it off to them and they send it back to us. I do not have any objection or anything saying that I'm for or against this. I just want to make sure I bring it forward for informational purposes. And then if we as a board would like to move forward with this, obviously just let us know so I could place it on the agenda for approval. And if not, I'm fine with that as well. But I know some board members, Ms. Janet has talked to several people, so this is the reason why I'm bringing it forward for information.
Yeah, and the LSBA module in there does provide those policy updates, and Danny's the one that kind of adjusted per parish too.
BFF.
So, and I think that it's been presented at a couple of conferences, but it was developed by Georgia School Board Association. LSBA is a partner with them now, and it creates, just for the public knowledge, it's the system we use online to post meeting agendas and minutes and policies, but this updated software is it's more modern. So you're able to, every agenda, the public would be able to see what policy is tied to every agenda item. So say we're talking about electronic device policy, it'll show the policy in our manual that it's connected to, and it's searchable with everything. So they would upload all of our historical data in it, and you would be able to search for years of data. If you're looking on something what's something we had this year, like hoodies, you could look up policies on uniforms, and it'll show you every time it was adjusted and changed, what comments were made, what changes were made, and then it's available for everybody to search. You can also search any school district in the country and say, oh, what are they doing? So that you can be informed of what we're discussing as well. So it's a more, I guess, transparent tool for us to use for communication as well. And that's what they pitched to us. And it was developed by school boards instead of developed by, a data company. So it's more robust and modern use for what we need and for the public to see what's going on. But I think all the data is in there. If you click all the links, it's in there.
Thank you, Doc, for bringing that up. D, authorize the superintendent to solicit requests for proposals for occupational therapists, physical therapists, certified occupational therapist, physical therapist assistant, speech pathologist, school psychologist, behavior specialist, school social worker, school behavioral coach, classroom special education teacher / gifted and talented teacher, hearing impaired teacher, teacher of the visually impaired, orientation and mobility specialist, adaptive physical education teacher, sign language interpreter, special education paraprofessional, educational diagnostic, educational audiologist, and school mental health counselor. I need a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Abear,
Second.
second by Ms. Dugas. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. E, approve professional contract agreement amendment with Touchstone ABA. I need a motion.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Lewis,
Second.
second by Mr. Washington. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? F, receive February 2025 sales and use tax report. Mr. Darrell?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tax report for the month of February 2025. Total returns processed, 2,153. Monthly, 1,282. Quarterly, 82. Irregular, 763. Semi-annual, 26. Total number of online filers, 1,913. Total receipts for the month of February 2025 are $1,501,341.94, a decrease from last year of $10,661.77. That's a minus 1% decrease. Total collections less audits, a minus 15.8% decrease. Total collections less Office of Motor Vehicles and audits, minus 22%. The school board received $747,071.56, a decrease of $6,310.81 compared to last year at this time. It's a minus 1%. The 92 bond issue fund received $149,414.26. That is a decrease of $1,000 $262.05, also a minus 1% decrease. The delinquent rate for the month of February 2025 is 8%. Industries that experienced an increase as compared to February 2024 were food, apparel, general merchandise, automotive, equipment, miscellaneous, and unclassified. Industries that experienced a decrease were contractors, service, manufacturers, and utilities. Audit revenues for the month of February 2025 were $228,247.91, compared to audit revenues for the month of 2024, February, were zero. Auto sales for the month of February 2025 were $280,531.88, compared to February 2024, $244,233.87. That is a 14.86% increase.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Darryl.
Thank you, Mr. Dowd.
People are rushing to buy a car for the tariff.
Thank you, Mr. Dow.
Thank you, Mr. Darrow. 7, facilities and grounds. I'm going to move to B, accept bid from B2 Refrigeration to replace the boiler at Assumption Parish School Board Central Office. I need a motion.
So move.
By Mr. Lewis,
Second.
second by Mr. Abear. All in favor? Any opposed? C, approve certificate of substantial completion for the project known as Assumption High School Gymnasium Curtain Replacement and authorize the superintendent and witness to sign all necessary documentation. I need a motion.
So move.
Moved by Ms. Orso,
Second?
second by Ms. Dugas. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Curtains look beautiful, by the way. I don't know, have y'all had an opportunity?
Very nice.
I think the school is very satisfied. Yeah.
They look really good.
Very nice. D, receive update on Assumption Parish School District construction projects. Mr. Dwayne.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So currently, as you know, we got a lot of projects going on. Like Ms. Cooney just said, we are spending a lot of money, making a lot of things happen across the parish. In the 2-story building, we are on track for getting the interior of the building completed before the end of school. We have some issues with discussion of the canopy out front. Mr. Savas making some minor modifications to that canopy to make the canopy that was presented to the board work out exactly like we wanted. So in looking at it, we found a few things that might not have gave us exactly what we wanted, so we revisited it. He's working on getting that put back together, working with the contractor to make sure that that exact canopy that you all seen is gonna come to life in front of that school. So the door project at the high school, the doors and frames are being ordered. That project should be starting soon. We have the canopy project at the high school and the grounding of the welding shop. Mr. Savoy is working on getting those plans together as well, so we can get that started. The B building HVAC system at Assumption High. Again, we had recently approved and given notice to proceed. That equipment is on order as well. That should start around May 1st. Yeah, it should start around May 1st and on June 1st. It should be a quick turnaround. I think there's 8 or 10 units, and then there's a fresh air system in the hallway. The boiler you all just approved for central office. So as soon as we get that notice to proceed, we'll get moving on that. We have time now, because we won't be needing a boiler again soon. The Pierrepont Security Project, I'm hoping to have something, hopefully by the next board meeting, to present to you all, so y'all can look at it and we can look over it. Hopefully I can have it to where we can present something to you, so you can see exactly what we're getting in the project, and then we can start moving, because it's much more than just security. It's security with some upgrades around the facility as well. The Libertyville primary and Libertyville middle security project is kind of on hold because I wanted to have a conversation with you all after looking at numbers. You were speaking about spending a lot of money, Ms. Cooney, and I was looking at some of that. I'm gonna get to that in just a second, but I think it may be more cost effective to stay at the primary school instead of spending some of the money we may have to spend. But like I said, I'll get back to that in a second. Belrose primary security project, where, Mr. Savoy to kind of get all the projects at the high school all up and running, get them to end to where we can, see the end of the projects coming, and then we're going to jump over to Belrose primary. We did visit the school. I went with Joseph. We looked at everything. We have a plan in place. We just haven't started putting all the design together. We're trying to get the high school completed first and focus on getting all that up and ready for school. Napoleonville primary, we're doing some work over the Easter break. Pretty much gonna have most of what they need for their consolidation there because they're not using the two-story building upstairs. So what I'm trying to do is get all the little nooks and crannies fixed and put the boards in place, put the whiteboards, put their bulletin boards, put desk, tables, chairs, everything. So when we're ready to make the move, we could just put the kids in, and then Josh can come in and make sure we have everything we need for the teachers as well. And for the Libertyville primary consolidation, this is what I was speaking about earlier.
You want to do BLP? BLP?
BLP, oh, I'm sorry. BLP is going out to bid. Y'all had approved the last board meeting. We had approved for that site work. That's going to be going out to bid because it's so close. We was going to do 3 quotes to expedite it, but it's so close to the $250,000 mark that my understanding is that we get one bid over that number, then it still has to be public bid. So just not to go out and get all these numbers, have them come back and delay it. We're just gonna go out now, and we should have enough time while the building's being constructed, since it's off-site, we should have enough time to do the on-site work, and then they'll come together before school starts.
Good.
So back to Libertyville, middle and primary. I don't know if you want to give those.
I think we got them.
She did.
We got them.
Oh, you updated them?
I have something else I attached to it when I was at home.
Thank
I
you.
was looking at it a little more in detail. And it's just a quick overview of it. If
I got it. Oh, you could go to the mic, you understand. All right, thank you.
So if you look at the pros and cons of the 2 schools, I know CSRS did their whole evaluation of it, but I was speaking to Mr. B, and we kind of went back and forth for a while over it in conversation. And I'm like, Mr. B, just give me the opportunity to speak to the board and let me make them aware of all of what's done in there. So the 2 schools are very close in comparison. So I was looking at it, and we have already put a new sewer plant at Libertyville primary. We just spent last year, we hadn't even used the air conditioning system for one summer yet. And it was a $500,000 project. So to walk away from it to the middle school, to me, was just bothering me. So I said, just give me the opportunity to speak to the board and kind of give them the pros and cons of the 2, and the board can make a decision from there. And I know you all voted on the CSRS master plan. I understand that, but I just wanted to bring this information to you. So if you look at the cost of the cons for Libertyville Middle School, and I'm not gonna go through every line item and stay all night with it, but it's like almost $4 million if we would bring all these cons up. The cafeteria is small. To add on the cafeteria, it's the cost estimate of almost $2 million. Now, it's not 100% necessity, but I guess if we get in the cafeteria and we have to expand that cafeteria, we have a larger cafeteria at the primary school already with 2 serving lines. Libertyville Middle has 1 serving line, 1 hand wash sink. It's gonna slow things down for the kids to get in and out of the cafeteria. They have an old boiler system. It's gonna be about $125,000 to replace the HVAC system, to do away with that old boiler system in that building in the back. We had issues last year, if you all remember. We put a boiler in that we had at another site. It was kind of not to say a Band-Aid, it was a temporary fix. We can get some more years of service out of it, but if we're gonna keep that school, we're gonna have to do HVAC upgrades there as well. So, we need a new sewer plant. The estimate on that sewer plant at Labrador Middle is $220,000. We need a playground. There's no playground for the children there, for primary school children. We need a Head Start classroom. It's about $120,000. We need a Head Start playground. It's about $85,000. The classrooms at the middle school are a little smaller than they are at the primary school. So if you've been in our pre-K classrooms, they wall to wall with stuff in there, it's full. And I can't change the classroom sizes. That's just something that they're gonna be stuck with and have to deal with. There's drainage issues at the middle school between the two buildings. I'm gonna have to fix that. That's about an $8,500 job. The security project at the primary school is gonna be a little bit more difficult because of the way the middle school, is designed. You have to go into the facility. So you're gonna already be in the courtyard area. To be able to put the one-point entry, we're gonna have to set it inside the facility instead of having like the rest of them in the front, where it's the first place you go to without interacting with any children or being in that area. And it's gonna add to the cost to have to do that. It requires a little bit more fencing and gates. It's more expensive to move. If we move the whole primary school to the middle school, it's gonna be about $125,000 more because we're moving every single thing from the primary school to the middle school. Head Start, pre-K, kindergarten. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the classrooms, like I said. So that move is gonna be much bigger than taking 5th and 6th grade from the middle school and moving them over into the primary school. The restrooms are not designed and built for little children. They're built for bigger children because it's a middle school. So we have to change some of the fixtures to lower the toilets, the sinks, the lavatories, the water fountains have to be lowered so the children could get to them. And then the band room at Labradorville Middle, I thought I could repair the band room that was out there. Once I went there with a contract and we started opening it up, the floors are completely rotten. Like the building's not worth fixing. So we would have to replace that band room with another building. Which if we did go there, I would just take a building from Labradorville Primary and move it over to that site. So the things that we would really need to do, I guess in the beginning, would be if we didn't do the HVAC, is everything on the must-have cost side. And I have a level of need for each one of them so we could kind of look at what's there. If we did the HVAC, it would be around $2 million to bring that facility up to be able to use it conveniently for the primary school. Because if we stayed at the primary, you would have the cost avoidance of spending that. We just stay there. And again, I know CSRS did their whole evaluation. They just didn't, to me, they didn't look into what we spent already and the investments we made into the primary school already. So if you look, that's what I was speaking about on the bottom, the playground. We already have a playground at Labradorville Primary School. We did that when we had the ESSER funds. We put a playground there. They have a Head Start classroom. They have a Head Start playground. It needs some repairs, but they have a playground. They have a new sewer plant. They have the new HVAC system. So there's a new boiler in the front hall, which several of the air conditioners in the front hall have been changed already. The band room, there's a double portable in the back. There's a possibility we could use that as a band room and a PE room. So we wouldn't need to spend money on a band room. And so roughly at that campus, with the savings of the move, it would be right at $945,000 that we have invested there with the cost avoidance of the move. So if you were to look on the next page with the facility condition assets, and this is just, I did this when I got home, it was real quick. So I know it's just scribble scratch kind of, but if you look at Labradorville Middle, having the Head Start classroom, the Head Start playground, the sewer plant, the restrooms, the water fountains, the drainage, and that's to add their new needs. So if we added that to Labradorville Middle, just those items would be $443,000 just to add those, which would bring the cost, you see where it's $8,211,000, it would bring it up to around, to get the facility upgrade, it would be like $8,654,600. which puts you at a facility conditions assessment of at 48.29, which is, if you took Libertyville primary, they have on here to remove the portables of $480,000. Those portables are coming out anyway. So that, or to me, shouldn't have been included in their assessment. But at the time of doing it, the portables were there, so they included it. But you would be at $8,272,000, and your facility conditions assessment would be 53.29%. It's a difference of 5%. And for me, I don't think the 5% is worth the possible $2 million we would have to spend, because then you would lose your 5% immediately. You would come upside down spending the money to bring the Head Start, to bring the playground, so the 5% would go away immediately. So to me, I know you voted on it, but after I sat down and looked at it more in detail, I suggest staying at Libertyville Primary School instead of moving to Libertyville Middle School.
And that would mirror Belrose and Napoleonville. So they would all be at
Belrose
primaries.
could be the same situation. They're going to be at a primary school.
Primaries at
This
all
is
of
the only primary school that we would be moving the whole primary into a middle. And the more I sat down and looked at it, when I sat with the cost is when it really hit me. When the lady came in and we sat and we walked the primary school and started looking at all the stuff that needed to be moved, it was kind of overwhelming. I mean, you walk in a pre-K class and you start talking about packing that up. And she said, oh, this is about 50 boxes per room. And I'm like, Jesus, this is a lot of stuff to move, so, and then you have to pack it, unpack it, and teachers got to put all it together and get ready for school. So it's really what sent me off into doing my investigation and kind of coming up with this. And I'm like, I just asked Mr. B if I could bring it to y'all. He granted me that, so that's what I said here tonight.
I would say get with Dr. B and leadership and put together a proposal for us to make a decision on next meeting. Give us a clear. It sounds like you took everything into account, and it would mirror Napoleonville, mirror Belrose too, so they'd be in the same environment.
Correct, because I mean, the only thing you would gain, you're really gaining there. You have more parking, and you have
we'd lose a gym.
The gym,
yeah, which the other primaries are losing too. So, yeah.
But you have a cafetorium at Libertyville Primary.
Yeah,
So, and then the
that could be
parking,
used.
everybody's talking about the parking. I said, when I went there, we had every portable in the back full, and all the teachers parked in the exact same parking lot that's there today. They can fit. We share with the church. The church is, they park there every weekend for church, and we park all week for school. So it works out for us. So I don't think the parking lot in the gym is enough to offset it. But again, it's a board decision. It's not my decision. I just want to bring the information to you all.
Sounds like you got a good plan.
So,
yeah.
Thank you for that
Thank you,
information.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Do we need to move on this tonight because we need to start making preparations? Would like the board to know, everyone to know, we're getting ready to start having weekly meetings now to make sure that we transition early enough and in a timely manner. Also, we have timelines, deadlines that we need to meet. So my question to you is, do we need to do this tonight, or can you wait until April 16th? And that's really for all my directors, because we on a timeline here.
16th?
Yes.
If this is something the board would like to entertain.
If we start going out to bid for projects and putting these projects out, I mean, it's 90-day turnarounds. So some of I don't think we have a project at Libertyville Middle that we can't get a quote on. But I thought the same thing for Bayou Lewis. And then we started digging into it. The more we looked into it, it got close to that threshold. And I don't want to have that happen and we're not ready for school. Gotcha. So I guess to answer your question, the sooner we get an answer.
My question is, do we need to do this tonight? Because you did a phenomenal job. You did a lot of research. You presented everything to us. What between now and the 16th will change the decision or change the data? So my question is, because if not, we need a vote on certain items tonight to move forward.
Right.
Because if we're going to move into Libertyville, we need to know that as soon as.
Move that band room, I need to know now. So every time we sit here and discuss this, it's just time wasted and lost that we're not moving forward. And that's 2 weeks at a time. So if you do it twice, we lost a month. So I would say if you all were willing to vote on it tonight, I would say we approve it tonight so we can start work tomorrow.
In order to add it to the agenda, we need to be
I mean, I'll make a motion to add an item onto the agenda to approve, let me see, I want to word that. I'll make a motion to add an item to the agenda to adjust the move from Labadyville primary to middle, and we adjust that moving Labadyville middle to Labadyville primary for the original proposal.
Second. Yeah, take a public comment.
Yep.
It's-
So Ms. Melissa has to take a roll call vote.
So Dwayne, you did all of this study by yourself, or did you bring anybody in to look at the study, or what you're proposing tonight?
So these numbers are numbers from either past projects or what we are about to do. So it's really when I started getting the numbers back. So when I got the playground numbers back, I knew what we spent on the playground we just done. I knew what we just spent on the HVAC system. I knew that we just put the sewer plant in a few years ago. So in looking at all the numbers, I pretty much put it all together myself. And the more I looked at it, I went to Dr. B, and he's kind of like, the board already voted on it. I'm like, Dr. B, please just let me just have a moment, just let me present it to him. And he's like, I don't know, they already voted on the plan, and the plan is the plan. And so we kind of went back and forth a little bit, bumped their heads a little bit, and he's like, all right, look, if you put it all together and you think it's worth that, then I think it's worth bringing it to the board. So that's why we're standing here. And I think again, I wouldn't be standing here if I didn't think it was worth doing. I just wanted to make you aware of, Ms. Cooney said we're spending a lot of money. I would hate to walk away from the money we just spent at the primary school.
So the first motion would be to
Add an agenda item.
put it added to the agenda and has to be unanimous. Correct, Counselor? And then you would take a public comment on it.
Okay. Ms. Melissa.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Now, the next motion would be to approve the recommendation that you just added to the agenda. And then you get a motion, you get a second, open it to public comment, and you take your vote.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the newly added agenda item.
Second by Ms. All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Oh, public comment, I'm sorry. Do we have any public comment?
Give it- Come forward, please.
Who is that? Is that him?
First and foremost, I definitely respect everything you just said. I know everything is probably pretty accurate, but from the...
Ma'am, for the record, please state your name.
My name's Chelsea Rodrigue, a Ward 4 resident and part of the library.
I know you, but, you know. Go ahead. Thank you, Chelsea.
Playground, there is minimal playground at Labadyville Primary School already. The cement slab is mildew all the time. That school is in horrible condition. And y'all just spent $60-something-ish thousand on a company to make this proposal. I think Labadyville deserves the move that they were told that they were gonna get, and this is kind of misuse of, or misleading with the tax dollars that just kind of passed. But I definitely agree with what you're saying. I just think they deserve whatever amount of money needs to take so they can have adequate playground and adequate HVAC. But Labadyville Middle School is in way better condition. Ray Charles can walk in and see than Labadyville Primary School. So I strongly don't think that those kids should stay at Labadyville Primary School. That's it for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chelsea.
Okay. So do we do a roll call? Oh.
Hi, Loretta Dupre, I'm back. So I did not go to Labadyville Primary School. I've been there, but I did not go there. I did go to Labadyville Middle School. I remember it being like one of the nicest facilities in the parish when we were there. Structurally sound, relatively new. I know there are challenges, but just from the safety aspect of a parent of a young child who will run away and not look back. When I look at Labadyville Middle School, I see a more secure facility, farther back from the highway. It's got lots of room to grow with sports in the backfield. And when I look, we went to Labadeville Primary School for summer school a couple years ago. That car line, being that close to LA1, it literally made me shake every morning. I was just terrified that, and I pass there every morning, just seeing how many cars are lined up on the side of LA1 right now. Kids are sometimes, I see little arms out the window and 18-wheelers passing, and the way that works, it's just so close up to the highway. That's all I think about when I look there. I would also understand the challenges, but I think it would be prudent for the board to pause, maybe visit these campuses in the next 2 weeks, get a more formal presentation about how this might work, talk to some residents in Labadeville, some parents, maybe see how they feel about it, and then take a vote. 2 weeks is not that long. That's what I'm saying. I get it with the construction, I get it, but we're talking about, the next 50 years. Can Labadeville Primary School sustain that going forward 20, 30 years from now? What will the condition be in? So that's all.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Okay. So moving forward, I ask. Okay.
So not, yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
So we just got to go back to A and then table it.
Okay, so we go to A.
It should die as a lack of motion, yeah.
I'm asking the board not to approve or recommend a motion that is on the agenda on item A for removal, because now that we have taken this vote, this particular item is null and void. We will not have to remove anything at this time from Labadeville Middle School because our energy now is going to be focused at Labadeville Primary.
Move that item.
Okay. Can I have a motion to remove A approval
Second.
by Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Washington? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So now we move on to, do I need a motion for that following? Mr. Mike, can you kind of help me? But since Mr. Abear brought up the motion to put back on the back to vote, do I just say all in favor? No, this is for the next, for going back to Mr. Abear's motion to put that on the agenda
Oh, we
to
approved
vote.
It was approved.
It was added.
Okay, it was approved.
We voted on it.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
We did
So I
t-
do all in favor.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure I did it. Okay, okay, thank you.
First was just to put it on the agenda unanimously, right? And then the second motion was that you put it on the agenda. And we also gave a public comment, a lot of public comment.
Thank you for clarification. I'm just checking. Yes, just checking. Okay. 8 comments and announcements from board members or administration.
I just have two quick announcements. Ag Day was beautiful. I was able to attend Ag Day, so kudos to all of those parents and students participating in Ag Day, all of our sponsors, and also definitely a shout out to our Special Olympics. Seemed like the kids had a phenomenal time. Thank the parents and all of our students, all of our special education teachers, sponsors. Also, I would like to say this year we invited Assumption ARC. And this year they were a part of, well, they were just visitors this year, but we want them to be a part of our Special Olympics as well. So I just wanted to make those two announcements. Thank you.
Okay. 9, adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
So, second by Mr. Abear. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?